The Bears have traded for a new center. I guess he's the starter. We're going to talk about an emergency pod. The Bears make a trade. CHGO Bears starts right now.
Emergency pod it is. Garrett Bradbury, your newest Chicago Bear. Emergency pod presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. Your team's starting lineup might change, but the price of your internet will not. Check out the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Mark Carman, with my old man glasses on here to try to figure out who the hell Garrett Bradbury is, alongside Adam Jahsn and Adam Hoge. That's right. We tell you, hit the subscribe button, because when the Bears make a move, do anything, we're on no matter how many pods we've done in a day, and it's the busy season here. So a 5th-round pick in 2027 going out the window, which is obviously nothing, and the Bears getting their center, and we think that he's a starter. We think that. Let's get into this. Tyler Linderbaum, the dream appears to be dead. Hoger, you want to start us here? Johns, either one of you, feel free to jump in. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, this is I'm just gonna be honest. This is underwhelming. It's underwhelming. Garrett Bradbury was in Minnesota. He's played in this division for a long time, but he was never really lived, despite the fact that he made it, past 4 years in Minnesota. He never really lived up to that first round billing that he had, drafted out of North Carolina State. He was somebody I know I looked at last year when the Bears were looking at centers, because he was a free agent, and the Vikings were not going to keep him. He ended up signing a 2-year deal for what could have been up to $12 million. It was really like a $9.5 million deal over 2 years. So, I mean, honestly, we're talking Ryan Bates money here. We're not talking Drew Dalman money. I tend to want to follow the money with some of these things. We're also only talking about giving up a future 5th-round pick. Which honestly at this point, he's 30 years old, seems a little steep to me. So I look, Garrett Bradbury can play. He started 17 games and made it to the Super Bowl with the Patriots this year. I've reached out to a couple of Patriots guys I know to see, what their evaluation of him is, what their evaluation of him was this season. But I guess I'm not completely convinced we're talking about a full-blown replacement for Drew Dalman here. I would think that there's still, at least at a minimum, got to be some type of competition, whether that's a draft pick or another signing, because this is definitely a step down from what Drew Dalman gave the Bears as a Pro Bowler this year.
I think you make this move a couple days before the negotiation window if you're concerned about landing one of the centers in free agency. It's call it a backup plan if you want, but it's a capable backup plan where you're getting a center with a lot of experience, just played 17 games on a playoff team, a team that reached the Super Bowl, a team that, you don't like seeing good teams give up on players, but if you're the Bears, you like the experience. If you're Ben Johnson, I'm sure you like the experience as opposed to maybe some of these other options out there. And if you're the Bears and you're concerned about landing Linderbaum, if he's too much for you, if another team's got a better offer, if another team's willing to break the bank and you're not, then I think you have to act proactively. And this is what Ryan Poles seems to be doing, bringing in Bradbury.
Right. So, okay, just reading the tea leaves here. I think that they think they're an underdog at bare minimum, if not completely out on Tyler Linderbaum. That would be my guess. And a 2027 5th rounder, as you put it, Hogue, maybe is a drop steep, but it's not like over the, you're not, it's certainly recoverable. And I saw somebody in the comments, and this is sort of where I'm at, like right when the trade hit. Okay, Ben Jahsn must like him enough. This is this is a different land right now for me. I think for a lot of Bears fans, where you just kind of believe that the head coach has a vision for how he's going to use him, and it'll work. So I also think that you do need to draft a center or multiple offensive linemen, really, even though they've got 7,000 needs right now. So it's like you're not going to be able to fix everything. But this does scream competition. Maybe there is somebody in the draft they like a lot who they could elevate and give a shot to if it goes that way. But at worst case scenario, he's your starter. And hey, if things fall somehow miraculously that they can get the best guy out there, well, then we just paid a 5th-round pick for a backup insurance policy.
Well, a couple wrinkles here. I mentioned that he was drafted out of North Carolina State. He did overlap with Joe Thuney there. So there's that, and that should probably matter. I'm also seeing Dan Casey on Twitter, who I respect a lot as a football mind. Already tweeting out some film of him in wide zone at North Carolina State, saying it'd be a good fit in Ben Johnson's offense. So there is all that. North Carolina State was also, I believe he was drafted in 2019. So that was a long time ago. And
he was brought in as a tight end back in the day. So maybe, maybe he can be the next Durham Smythe as well if they get Linderbaum for whatever that's worth. Thank you very much. I'm just telling you, in my 5 seconds of Garrett Bradbury research here on the beginning of his Carman Wikipedia, the dude was a tight end when he got to college. That's how long ago that was. So.
One of the questions here in the chat is a depth piece. I don't think you can view him as a depth piece right now, at least not initially. He's the Bears' most experienced center. He's got a lot of experience. He's their starter right now until things change. And just mentioning the draft, like Hoge and I had heard about the Bears having interest in various centers, draft prospects coming up in this year's draft for April. So you're just trying to put 2 and 2 together that maybe this is the plan that the Bears wanted to take action on. Maybe it's bringing in an experienced center who could be here for 1 or 2 years and having him be a mentor for another young, draft pick to mold. Have Ben Jahsn have a center from the start.
Look, we everybody knows the numbers here or the needs. 2 linebackers, 2 safeties, left tackle, wide receiver, who could be your kick returner, punt returner. It's kind of endless here what they need. So, you got to get some value somewhere. Maybe, and look, I don't love the fact the Patriots are letting him go, but I do like the fact that he was the starting center on the team that went to the Super Bowl with a young quarterback.
Yeah, and this isn't like, again, in the comments, I don't mean to be reacting to everything. This smells like a Ryan Bates move. No, Ryan Bates had very little starting experience, specifically at center when he became a target for the Chicago Bears. Garrett Bradbury has significant experience, especially at center. So this isn't a Ryan Bates backup situation, and we want to find a cheap steal for our offensive line. Bradbury has a lot more experience than Ryan Bates did.
And look, I also wonder here, Taylor Decker is supposedly getting released, and we've talked about it earlier on the show today. And we actually been talking about it during the week. Does Drew Dalman retiring change your plans at left tackle? And if we look at this similarly, how we looked at it before, when we had any idea Drew Dalman was going to retire, what we kept coming back to was they have 4 guys they know they can count on the starting on their offensive line. You can get by with hiding 1. So if Taylor Decker, who was with Ben Jahsn in Detroit, ends up being an option to be that stopgap at left tackle, maybe they're thinking, well, now we can add another guy in Garrett Bradbury. He's played a ton of football, been in this division too. Ben Johnson's seen him in this division as well. It's kind of like filling all 5 spots. You're not quite as strong at the 4 overall, but the cumulative with the all experience you have across that offensive line and them all being fits in this scheme, I can see how Ben Jahsn would say that makes sense. And there's only so much money in cap space to go around here. You're going to have to go cheaper at some of these positions. The thing that worries me is just we know how much of an impact Drew Dalman had with Caleb Williams last year. And now Bradbury was with Drake May. And so he got experience working with a young quarterback as well last season.
He signed a 2-year contract with New England, leaving Minnesota for $12 million, and it's so the Bears are, according to Spotrac, it's a $5.7 million cap hit this year. That's not nothing. It's
right, but it's a lot less than signing Linderbaum, and it may give you the space to go get Decker, because we don't really know what Decker's going to command now that he's free.
Right, 100%. But I'm saying, like, to the point that, like, is he just here as insurance? $6 million it does not feel like insurance to me. And I see, Johns, you're shaking your head on the insurance thing. You think this is their starter?
Yeah. I think he's here to start. Like, this is a move you make with Ben Johnson's blessing, and maybe I'll even walk back some of the things I said earlier about him being like your consolation prize. Well, maybe he is. Maybe you heard Linderbaum's price and you're like, no way, can't do that. That's going to affect too many other positions. We have to back out. Maybe you heard McGovern's price. No way, can't do that. Have to back out. Let's find another option. So you find a very capable one in Garrett Bradbury. And make what you want about Pro Football Focus, but I'm going to reference some of their stats right now. So 505 pass blocking snaps last year for Garrett Bradbury. No sacks allowed. Like, that's something. That's their analysis. I know Drake May was sacked an awful lot. I would say a lot of those are on him for holding the ball too long and going big game hunting, which we know he likes to do. But some of the analysis, some of those who have already gone through the film of Bradbury are already giving positive reviews on the Bears' acquisition of him.
I just got very excited about, and just having you say it versus hearing everybody else say it. That no sacks, 0. That's a good number. Look, these are pieces to a puzzle. Normally I don't trust what goes on as far as the Bears putting the puzzle together. They've been doing a pretty good job putting the puzzle together the last, call it, 15 months, whatever it is, since they hired Ben Johnson and moved forward. I mean, Ryan Poles has been on a heater. So maybe this is another just under the radar, solid move. At some point, they'll have to figure out a long-term solution. But, on the fly with the amount of needs, again, they have, it adds up.
And I know we're just digesting this. Sometimes it's important to hear the other side of the story. I think one of the first questions I would have if I'm critiquing this is, why are the Patriots, with their playoff aspirations, with Drake May, why are they giving up on their starting center who just built that relationship with Drake May? So here's Mike Reese from ESPN. He has covered the Patriots, I feel like, forever. So he tweets, opinion/analysis. Garrett Bradbury did everything Patriots asked for after signing him to a 2-year deal last offseason, starting every game, 1,336 snaps, providing veteran leadership and helping stabilize the offensive line. With Jared Wilson projected center of the future, left guard moves up their needs list. So obviously it's a tweet, but sounds like they have their plans in place for their future center already.
Yeah. I'm sorry, can you repeat that real quick? Because I was distracted by a message I got. So who's their starter now?
Jared Wilson, who played left guard last year.
Got it. Okay. Meanwhile, so my guy Phil Perry, who also covers the Patriots, does a great job over at NBC Sports Boston. He brought me back to his analysis on Bradbury was he was fine, better pass protector than run blocker. I think at this stage, very rarely a liability, smart guy. Patriots obviously feel like they can do better, but they were lucky he fell into their laps after they released David Andrews last year. This is good news for Carm, because Phil says you'll like him a lot as a guy. Really good dude, pretty open, thoughtful, tries to be helpful. So there you go.
I'm all in. Let's go. By the way, this Xfinity, this Emergency Pod, is presented by Xfinity. Imagine that your team's starting lineup did just change, but the price of your internet will not. Check out the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Thank you to our friends at Xfinity for all the help on our Emergency Pods. Look, I'm feeling better about this by the minute. You have got to find value and wherever you can find it. And, look, sure, the Bears have hit on 5th-round picks. Actually, they've hit on a lot of 5th-round picks in big-time ways. Braxton Jones, the most recent of those, who had a solid 4-year run.
Your guy, Darnell Mooney.
Before that, who was the running back who had a great 5th-round tenure? Come on.
From Indiana.
Indiana. Whatever. Somebody knows. Put it in the chat.
Wow, why are we blanking on his name?
I missed the question. What's the question?
Who was the 5th-round running back that they drafted who had a great run for the Bears at
Jordan
Indiana?
Howard.
There you go. So, look, the Bears have hit on 5th-rounders. So has everybody else. You still, look, it was a significant need. So, I mean, this is a cost analysis situation. So, and here's Bragg's in the stands, always working. Ben Johnson, for percentage, number 1, cerebral, number 2, talent. You guys agree with that comment from Gregory?
Ben Johnson demands like a smart center. Like that like I would agree with Gregory Braggs Jr. there.
I just never know when he's being serious or not. So never question Ben Johnson.
This one would be not. This would be not serious. This would be probably 7 drinks into whatever his day is. Follow up. Those drinks, by the way, could be Diet Dr. Peppers. Gregory, we miss you. Look,
Crown.
Yeah, this would be a lot more exciting weekend if the show that we were doing right now is if they had traded for Max Crosby, signed Tyler Linderbaum, all those things. But I actually. I don't know. You have to, you got to be reasonable plays that are that makes me like just further cement. I'm repeating myself over and over again, but just further cement that they know what they're doing.
Here's the thing: the Bears had to fill this position at some point in this free agency window. Now they had to get aggressive and obviously make a trade, but you couldn't come up empty-handed in free agency, and maybe that was a real possibility given the robust markets that maybe Linderbaum and McGovern were going to have. Not only robust markets and competition, but maybe the price points that Ryan Poles didn't want to pass. And if anything, like Ryan Poles has been pretty adamant about not passing certain price points for certain players, especially in certain positions. So maybe this is the situation and how it played out for the Bears behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve final judgment to once I see what it all looks like. Who's at left tackle? I do think this makes sense schematically. I think it makes sense with, putting him next to Tooney, who he knows. I saw Field Yates tweet that they were actually roommates on the road when they were playing together in North Carolina State. So they obviously are close.
That's adorable.
Right?
I mean, can you imagine, like, all of a sudden your college roommate just came back to work with you at CHGO? That'd be sweet. Kevin Gresh, what's up, my brother? He's out there skateboarding in Los Angeles with a minimal life plan. Maybe we could get him back in here. That's that's not quite the same thing, but you get the point. Let's do the play it forward here. What do you guys think is next? If you had to take a stab at that.
Well, you didn't spend big on center, so I think that opens up a whole range of different avenues. Probably starting with safety because you don't have a starter, free or strong safety, but at the same time, you should still be thinking pass rush and defensive line help, and not to mention maybe some left tackle competition.
Yeah, I want to see who the left tackle is. I want to see a Kevin Byard deal get done. And now that you kind of know who your center will be, I imagine that'll impact, getting that deal done. And yeah, okay. I'm gonna go to my son's hockey game now.
I think signing Kevin Byard is important right now. Like you just lost your Pro Bowl center. You're about to you just said goodbye to like one of your defensive captains, and you already traded DJ Moore. Kevin Byard might be essential to keeping that chemistry, that everything that was built in 2025, continuing into 2026.
All right, there goes Adam Hoge, by the way, as he's got family waiting to go for the hockey game tonight. I'm going to sectional final basketball tonight. We will be back tonight if they do something else. Whoever can jump in.
I'm out. I'm going to dinner.
John's going to dinner. So, like, Ryan, if you could just, cool it for.
I'll do the emergency pods. I got it from here.
And hey, listen, Steven, just don't do anything between the hours of 6:30 and 8, and I'll be good. But even if they do, we're like doctors. We're on call here. Look, John Z, on the way out here, give it a grade. Garrett Bradbury to the Bears for 5th-round pick in 2027.
B. You needed to fill the position. You needed to be creative if you had to be, because it was a must fill. Like you can't go into the draft without a starting center. So if you felt like you could strike out on Linderbaum or McGovern or any other center, this seems like a more than reasonable backup plan to take action on. And you know what? he could be just as good for 1 or 2 years for the Bears.
$5 super chat. Coleman Shelton became a decent starter with McVay. Just saying that's true. I mean, hey, listen, he had a good season over there. They did well. Beat the Bears, made it to the NFC Championship game with good old Coleman. All right, look, not sexy, perhaps effective, and we got roommate college love with a Hall of Famer to be. I'm in, man. I'm a believer. You got me. Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles, keep it cooking. This is Emergency Pod, has been presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. We appreciate everybody who clicked on here on the Friday afternoon. Johnsy, any final thoughts here? By the way, hit the subscribe button. Anytime news breaks, we're breaking in. So if you're not paying attention, it'll ding. So turn those notifications on. Oh my God, something's happening. We're at 106,041 right now. If you're brand new to the pod, and you wouldn't have gotten this Garrett Bradbury information without it, hit that subscribe button right now. We appreciate it as we continue to grow the channel and the CHGO Bears podcast. All the Bears stuff, 52 weeks out of the year. Bulls, Hawks, Sox, Cubs, all the good things you want in your Chicago sports coverage. We appreciate anybody who's been here for more than a minute and anybody new checking it out today. Hit that subscribe button. The Giggities, $5. This tells me the Bears will draft a center and develop him behind Bradbury for a season or two. We agree with you, the Giggities. That makes sense. Anybody else? Any other supers we missed, Steven?
Nope, that's all of them.
Okay, I appreciate it. Steven Nicholas, by the way, producing the program, just killing it on the daily here. Johnsy, I enjoyed this, particularly your part of it.
Good to see you, Carm.
Good to see you too, pal.
Enjoy your night.
In my 1948 glasses, I left my other ones at the office, but hey, they're getting the job done. A la Garrett Bradbury. These glasses were meant for Garrett Bradbury. I can see, and it works. Bradbury, you're gonna work. Hey, could be a busy weekend. Keep it locked. Gregory, have fun out there. We appreciate you too, buddy. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.